Hello everybody, welcome into the latest vlog. Today I'm going to do a little cooking video. I know some people on the internet have a real hard time with understanding that a YouTube channel doesn't have to follow any particular format. I'm not a corporation. I can do anything I want to do. So we'll touch a little bit on car repairs, we touch a little bit on cooking, touch a little bit on life philosophy, and of course on computer repair. It's all sort of a whole package deal. I do have a separate channel for the cooking videos, and this copy of this video will be there as well, Cooking with Carey. I'll put a link to it in the video notes below the video. Let's get to the topic of today's video with a quick shout out to everybody who's joining me live in the chat. Let's make sure everybody can see and hear me okay. Okay, Ben gives us the all clear, so we're broadcasting well, it seems. Everything's going out like it should. So a lot of people have asked me to do more cooking videos, and I wanted to show a fast, easy way to make pizza that's it's inexpensive. You can make it the way you like it. You don't have to deal with these frozen pizzas that are nasty, or even some of the fast food pizzas that are out there. We're not going to create everything from scratch because most of us don't want to spend 3 hours making the dough and prepping for a meal that'll take 10 minutes or less to eat. So here's something fast and easy you can do. And of course you can change it up to make it healthier or make it unhealthier to your taste. What I've got to start with the crust is Mamma Mia brand miniature pizza crust. These are thin and crispy. Now in my previous video I used a flour burrito shell. This is a bit thicker than that. This is going to hold the weight of the pizza a lot better. The edges won't burn on it like they do on the flour burrito shell. And it's got little holes in there. I'll give you a little close up of the texture of the crust. For those of you interested, that is what it looks like. Okay, and this is a great personal size pizza. The package, these are at Walmart for $2.50. You get 3 of them. Always be sure and check the expiration date before you buy it. On my previous attempt, I bought some that were well past their expiration date and just ruined the entire meal. In fact, make sure everything you get, check expiration dates on everything when you go grocery shopping. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised what some of these stores try and pawn off. I saw butter, a pound of butter for $2, and I thought, well, that's too cheap. And it didn't say it was expired, it just said clearance $2. And it had been cleaned out. I mean, there were like 3 empty boxes. There was 1 box left filled with boxes of butter. And I looked at the expiration, it expired 4 days previous. So I guess if you're gonna eat it right away, you're okay, but I'd rather spend $5 or $6 and get a pound of butter that I have 3 or 4 months to use. But that's just me. I'm very sensitive about my taste buds. So what I'm gonna do today is just very quickly show you how you can easily and inexpensively make a healthier, fresher, if nothing else, it's fresher pizza, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time or prep, and any more so really than a frozen pizza. Or we all have to eat, and most of us really do like pizza. For the pizza sauce, there's lots to choose from. I tend to stay away from the sugary sauces. This one's pretty good. This is from Classico, the people that make pasta sauces. This is the fire roasted. They also have a traditional, and it's not the best pizza sauce in the world, but it's not bad. And I'm going to take some of that out here, and we're just going to spread that evenly. Oh, there's a chunk of something. I don't want chunks. I don't know what that is, but I ain't having it. I want my pizza sauce to be smooth. All right. And you know, when you overdo any ingredient, it's going to ruin the taste of your pizza. But you know, experiment. There's really, the great thing about cooking is there's no wrong way to cook. I don't care. There are people that are professional chefs. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, nobody's a professional chef. Human beings have been eating, obviously, since the dawn of mankind. And you eat what you like. And experimenting with food is something you simply cannot do wrong. You like it or you don't like it. It really doesn't amount to right or wrong. It's personal taste. So I want to emphasize that. And that's not to say there are some complicated dishes that require experience and education to make. Doesn't mean those dishes are going to be any good. Next, we're going to put the cheese on. I've got a combination of mozzarella and provolone. When I worked at Little Caesars Pizza, they always cut the pizza cheese with provolone. It was cheaper than mozzarella. So we take 2 big bricks of mozzarella and 1 round brick of provolone and put it in the Hobart machine and grind it all up together. And it made for a really good flavor. This provolone is supposedly smoked, so that should add a little bit of richness to it as well. And again, if you put too much of anything on it, it's going to ruin the pizza. So you got to find that balance that's right for you and your particular taste. Normally I get a finer shredded cheese for a smaller pizza, but this was the only way this cheese was sold, and so that's what we got, and that's what we're using. Now for my toppings, personally, I like pepperoni, mushroom, and green pepper. I've already got everything cut up and ready to go this time, so we can just fly right through this. Mushrooms, these were already pre-cut, so you don't have a lot to do there as far as that goes. And these are, the problem with them being pre-cut, they're often far too thick for a pizza this small, but that's all right. Well, I do like the flavor of them, and wow, I much prefer to find some smaller ones in the bag. If I were to buy the whole mushrooms and cut them myself, I would have cut them quite a bit smaller, and these do shrink up to a good, almost half their size once they're in the oven. They're going to shrink up significantly. So you can overcrowd the pizza a bit with mushroom if you like that. Next, I've got green pepper. I'm a fussy eater, and I'll be honest, I really don't even like green pepper, except on a pizza. It's the only way I'll eat it. I know people are like this similarly with onions. People don't like onions, but they'll eat onion rings. I'm that guy. I can eat a green pepper plain. I can, it's not that I gag or anything. It's just, it's not appealing. But on the pizza, when it's cooked, world of difference. Pepperoni, I always put the pepperoni on last because I want it to crisp up. I like it to get almost a bacony type crispness to the pepperoni. So I like to use pepperonis that are thinner. One of the things I don't like that Papa John's does, Papa John's like to put the toppings under the cheese and they can't get crispy. That bothers me. I don't know why they do that. Pepperoni works. Once again, pepperoni's going to shrink up pretty good. We're going to cover the other toppings. Try not to overlap the pepperoni, because where it overlaps, it won't crisp. Looks like that's all we're going to fit on there. And the dogs, you want one? Oh. You want one? Have another one. And one more. Leave my fingers. Good boy. That's it. We just put it in the oven. Oven is preheated to 425 degrees. That's a general heat that pizza's often cooked at. 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I introduced the pizza stone in the previous videos where I've shown how to make pizza. If you don't have a pizza stone, get one. This is very hot, and as it's been preheating, it does darken with age. That's a good thing. A lot of heat coming off of this. This is going to make sure our crust gets cooked underneath. This whole surface is evenly hot, which is much better when cooking a pizza than placing it on foil, or you certainly don't want to place it directly on the rack because it'll make a big mess in your oven. We're going to set that down on the bottom row, get it close to that heat. Again, we're at 425 Fahrenheit. And while that's cooking, I'm going to start putting some stuff away. And I can address some questions just as soon as I get this stuff put away. We'll see what's on your mind there in the chat room. The great thing about these pizza crusts is you get 3 of them. So those extra toppings that you see there, oh, those are going to get used. Including this jar of sauce. It's going to go a long way. I think with those toppings, I can make 5 or 6 pizzas if I had another set of crust. Let me just wipe this down. And we're going to reuse this as our plate for when it's cooked, because we didn't have anything raw on there that we have to worry about. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty fast. It's relatively inexpensive. and it'll make a much better pizza than, you know, something you slap in a microwave oven or get at the gas station. ER wants to know if I'm autistic because I seem really organized. You can look up something called sensory processing disorder. It's a very difficult thing to diagnose because the symptoms would often be diagnosed as OCD or as autism or Asperger's. There's just a little touch of all of that, but not enough to be full-blown out categorized as those. And it took a long, long time to figure out. In fact, I had to figure it out on my own. Nobody I talked to, no professional was able to diagnose it. But once I realized what SPD was, everything lined up and makes sense now. So SPD, or sensory processing disorder, is what I deal with every day, and it affects everything from how clothes feel. You'll see I wear the same style of shirts all the time because of how they feel. Same pants, same shoes. It runs the gamut on how things taste, the textures, how clothes feel, how things smell. It's all part of that. But again, Google sensory processing disorder. You can read what all the symptoms are that are often misdiagnosed as being the catalyst, when in fact it's this other thing. Most of us go through that at about the age of 2, and we grow out of it by 5 or 6. So I guess you could say I'm still like a 2-year-old. When are you going to make a new video with Subaru Mike? We still have the rest of the series of the engine reinstall on the Turbo Forester. It's been filmed, 2 months now. I just haven't had time to edit it. So everything's waiting on editing. And I won't do anything else with Mike until that video gets edited because I don't want to get too far behind. I'm smelling that pizza cook. What's my favorite frozen pizza? My guilty pleasure on frozen pizza is this. And I like the Supreme ones. See, they used to, it's over here. They used to just do the pepperoni pizza rolls, and they had green pepper in them. And it was very mild. It was just, and when Totino's bought this from Gino's, this used to be Gino's, they changed the recipe and the pepperoni is missing something. And the only way I can get the green pepper back is by going to Supreme, but I don't like onions and I don't like olives. I don't taste any of that stuff in the Supreme, but I do taste the pepperoni and the green pepper. That's what this tastes like to me. These are $3 a bag at Walmart, and there's 40 of them. They're not good for you, but they make me happy. They are a guilty pleasure. I know it's not good for me. I don't eat for health. I eat for enjoyment, for the joy that food brings. And I would rather die happy and live a short life than live a long life where I die healthy and miserable. But you got to find a balance in everything. You know, you can't just eat junk food all the time, and you can't just eat health food. Well, some people do, but I can't. I try and, for the most part, try and find a balance, and in my case, it's off balance. So it's mostly junk with a little bit of health food, but there's something in there anyway. The pizza stone is available anywhere where pots and pans are sold. So if you go to Walmart, or if you go to like a kitchen store like Bed Bath & Beyond, or any of the Sur la Table, you know, which is a higher end kitchen store. But also, I've seen them available at Walmart. In fact, they were in the frozen food aisle. At the end of the aisle, there were pizza stones. And I'm sure they probably had them on the other side of the store where all the pots and pans. They're not hard to find. Of course, Amazon sells them online, as do other places. And like I said, when they're brand new, they're going to be nice and clean, and you think that's great. But actually, it tastes better as it darkens and as you use it. And you never wash a pizza stone because it's porous. And what happens is the water will soak into that porous stone. And when you heat the stone up and there's little water molecules down in the stone, the water expands and your stone's going to crack. Then you throw it away and it's time to buy a new pizza stone. So you just take a scraper, scrape it like a barbecue grill, wipe it down with a paper towel to get any oils off of it, and you're good to go. I've had this pizza stone for a number of years now. Pizza's coming along just fine. What I'm gonna do, actually I'm not gonna do anything yet, but when we're near the end of the cooking, I might turn the broiler on. What the broiler does, normally for those of you who don't normally cook, when you hit the bake button on your oven, it turns your bottom heat source on, and so the heat is going up from the bottom. And when you use the broil setting, it turns the top heat source on and turns the bottom one off, so it heats from the top down. So if something's getting really cooked underneath, but the top isn't melting, then you want to switch over to broil. But broil happens very quickly. Don't walk away from it for very long, or you'll end up with just a pile of burned mess. And if you really want to brown it quick, move whatever you're cooking to the top tray nearest to the broiler, so the closer you are to that heat source, the faster it will brown. And broil doesn't usually have a temperature setting. There's usually broil high and broil low, but it's pretty much cranked all the way up on broil. Tommy Smith in the chat says, broiling a pizza is an easy way to get melted cheese and crispy pepperoni. Absolutely. Sometimes you can achieve that from the bottom as well. Depends on how things are cooking, on the ingredients that you're using, the pizza stone, the distance of the rack from the heat source. There's a lot of variables there. What I like about this recipe is it doesn't require any measurements. Did you see me measure anything? Did I grab a teaspoon or a tablespoon or a measuring cup? No. You just eyeball it. And most good chefs, they just eyeball things. If you ever watch folks on TV, some stuff is pre-measured, but a lot of times when they're adding an ingredient in, they just instinctively know how much to add from experience. And so you've probably eaten enough pizza in your life that you know if you like a lot of sauce or not so much, or if you like a lot of cheese or not so much, et cetera, et cetera. And so that way you can customize it to your specific taste buds. And because these crusts are so small, other people in the family can make theirs the way they want it, and everybody can have their own. Let's see how we're doing in here. Oh, yeah, time to put the broiler on. So I'm gonna hit broil. Whoops. We'll put it on high. And then I'm gonna move the stone up to the top shelf. This is what it looks like so far. How well you're gonna be able to see it. And I wanna brown that up. So we're gonna put that on this top shelf. And that's going to happen very quickly. And you'll see almost as fast as the microwave, really, when you think about how long it takes to cook. It's pretty fast. Waiting for the oven to preheat takes a few minutes, but that's when you can spend your time. You know, set the oven first and then spend your time creating your pizza. And by the time you're done, the oven should be pretty well close to preheated. That way you get it in there, it's already hot. It'll take less time to cook. These oven mitts are available on Amazon. I should put a link to them. It was funny, I was at my sister's house and we hadn't even, I don't know, we hadn't talked about this. Who talks about oven mitts? And she had the exact same set. They're awfully big, I mean, compared to the size of my hand. But you see how long I held onto that pizza stone and it didn't burn me at all. And that pizza stone is hot. How are you still alive? You should be dead by a vitamin shortage. Yeah, well, you know, a lot of processed foods, they're processed with vitamins and stuff added. So, you know, even our drinking water has stuff added, fluoride and stuff like that. A lot of people talk about lack of sodium in diet, but the fact is all the processed foods we buy are rife with sodium. So if you never touched any salt, you'd still be getting more than your FDA allowance of sodium just in the processed foods that we eat, frozen foods and whatnot. But, oh, do I have chroma keys turned on still? I don't see it. Filters, yeah, chroma key was turned on. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, we should be good. Oh, yes. I'm gonna let it, I like to brown it up a little bit. I love seeing now that there are options now for people who like things really well done. There are Cheez-Its now that are toasted. They're the well done Cheez-Its. You ever had a box of Cheez-Its and you like the brown ones? Every once in a while you grab them in the box and now they have these extra toasty, which are all the brown Cheez-Its, which is fantastic. It said that was their #1 requested flavor. And they also, they also make, when I was in Michigan, the potato chip company there, Better Made, makes just a bag of the dark chips called Rainbow. I don't know why they're called Rainbow, but they're the dark chips. Oh, this looks fantastic. Okay. Put that up there for now. Let me grab my other oven mitt. Let me show you what this looks like right now. I don't want it to slide off onto the floor. That would be a crime. But that's about as done as I like it. Nice and browned. Pizza stone is starting to get a little warm in my hands. All right. And I realize you're a little distance away there. So bear with me for a minute while I cut this up. I'm going to cut it on the stone. The stone is a great place to keep your pizza warm, by the way, if you're making a big pizza, because it's absorbed all the heat from the oven. It's going to take a while for this stone to cool down. At the same time, if your pizza was really well cooked, you might want to take it off the stone because it will continue to cook. So if it's already been past its prime as far as burning goes, you'll want to get it off the stone to prevent the burning from getting any worse. The other great thing about a small pizza like this is you can cut it very easily with two cuts, one horizontal, one vertical. And it will not cool down on this stone if I haven't made that clear enough. And it's gonna burn your mouth if you try and eat it right now. So if you're in a hurry, you're starving, you wanna eat, go ahead and give yourself about 5 minutes before you touch this pizza, or suffer the consequences of your impatience. Okay. Here we are. I just want to move this back a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put this back in the oven. And these two can go back over here. All right. And our final product, let's see if we can make it look a little prettier. Final product looks like this. Let's see if we can get you a nice zoom in on that. Let's see. There it is. You can see how the pepperoni's crisped up the edges here. Love these edges. Those are the best. It's not flimsy. You see how, oh, you know what? I gotta try this. Oh my God. I could just eat those crispy pepperonis all day. But here's what the final product looks like. If I can actually get it centered. Which way am I going? I will figure this out. I gotta go the exact opposite directions that I think I need to go. And you see the edges didn't burn like they did on that flour burrito shell that I was using before. Because this is intended to be a pizza crust, you can see the underside of it. Perfect. Little toasty along the edges, but I actually like that. I'm a well done kind of guy. Although when it comes to really nice steaks like filet mignons, I'll go medium, maybe medium well. Which kills Subaru Mike when we're barbecuing and he's cooking, he's barbecuing. He thinks that that's just blasphemy to cook a filet that well. He thinks it should be really bloody. Dawn says, if I ever get around to Grand Haven, Michigan, you need to try Frank Fricano's Pizza. Never heard of it. My Camera's still not quite set up right. Let's try that. But yeah, I mean, when you consider the cost of ingredients, it was $2.50 for the pizza crust. I think the jar of sauce was $1.78. Let's call it $2. The cheese, it's a full cup of cheese, so it was like $5. It's a big bag. I didn't obviously need a bag that big, but let's just count it all in, right? In fact, let's just round it up. Let's say we're at $10, plus we have the pepperonis, which were $2.50. Green pepper is like 50 cents. And the mushrooms were like $2 for that big box of mushrooms. So all in, let's say we're 15 bucks, and that's being generous. There are 3 crusts, that's $5 per pizza. And I can tell you, it's gonna be so much better than something you're gonna take out of the box, something anybody else has made. Just like building your own PC is better than any PC you can buy pre-made, because you can make it the way you want it. That's how you do it. That's it right there, folks. If you want to spice it up a little bit, you can get some crushed red pepper. Let's see, I think I have some in here. Crushed red pepper. No, that's not it. So the problem when you really get into cooking is you end up with all of these spices that you very rarely use. And it can be difficult to find the one spice you're looking for, which I know is in here somewhere. Come on. Well, I should have taken this out before I started to film. I don't know where it is now. I often like to put basil on the pizza as well. I have a basil plant, but it didn't really survive the winter too well. I'm not quite sure if it's dead or if it's going to come back to life or not, but I gave up on looking for the crushed red peppers. Quite frankly, it's just adding heat. Doesn't really add any flavor. But I do wish I had my basil plant and I could put some fresh basil on there and cook it. And of course, it's a pizza crust, so naturally it works better than a flour burrito shell. It's practically just as crisp, and it holds those toppings a lot better without burning so easily because it's a bit thicker. And you'll see it's not flimsy at all. That's all there is to it. So you can make your own pizza, you know, pause your game for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, make your pizza, eat it, go back to your game. It's all good. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back real soon with another video here coming up in just a few minutes on a whole nother topic once I get done eating. I'll see y'all very soon. Until then, bye for now.